part 2 of the 32711 Sports Blog. Now I'm going to talk about one of the Knicks losses, many of the Knicks losses that you're going to see in the Sports Blog. Knicks at Pistons. But first, some highlights from NBA.com.
Ending a 7-year playoff drought is becoming closer and closer to a reality for the Knicks. Still, they have no time to have their heads in the clouds, especially considering their recent struggles against sub-500 teams. They got a date with the Pistons Friday night at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Former home of Chauncey Billups. Mr. Billups getting to the cup. Very familiar with the rims there. Pistons off and running now. Tayshaun Prince gets it. Hop step through the lane. Lays that one in. He had 16 points in the game. On to the second half now. Amari Stoudemire is going to get the rock here. And he absolutely owns the rookie Greg Monroe. Oh my. You have to see this like 3 times to really appreciate how vicious that was. 5-point lead for the Knicks. They're off and running. And it's Sean Williams for the dunk. Part of a 17-0 run. In the fourth now, Will Bynum getting it to Chris Wilcox, who does that. Wilcox with the mean jam. 3-point ball game. Charlie Villanueva is going to even things up. He was 4 of 6 from long range, 14 points on the night. Off the turnover here, Wilcox gets it to Will Bynum, and the little fella able to lay it in. Well, you know, the Pistons on top. Tony Douglas coming off that amazing night his last time out, had 9 triples. He gets to the cup here. 20.7 rebounds, 11 assists in the game. Bynum's going to miss, but check out Wilcox. Put that back! He's a tidy fella. He can clean up. Under a minute to go. Carmelo Anthony's going to miss. Miserable night for him. 2 of 12 shooting, just 6 points. Pistons holding on to that 2-point advantage. And they end up with the rebound here. Playing keep away. And they would accomplish their goal. They kept the Knicks away from a win. The Pistons in a shocker by 4.
Now, the video doesn't mention that for the Knicks, Sean Williams had himself 13 points, and Tony Douglas had 20 points off the bench, and Sean Williams added 17 points off the bench as well. For the Pistons, Charlie Villanueva came off the bench, scored 14 points. Austin Day had 11 points. For the Knicks, starting with the keys, they had too many turnovers, 18 turnovers against one of the worst teams in the league. Melo's poor shooting performance, he only had 6 points. He was, I think, 2 for 20 or something like that from the field, which isn't good. That's a Kevin Durant night. Too many threes instead of going to the paint. And this is a major key for both teams. The points in the paint, the Knicks had 28 points in the paint compared to the Pistons' 44 points in the paint. That's not good. And the Pistons had 19 points of fast break points. The Pistons looked like they were running Mike D'Antoni's offense, run and gun, because 19 fast break points compared to, I think the Knicks maybe had 8, and that's not good for the Knicks. The Knicks need to get out running, and they need to score. I don't know what was going on. The Knicks were leading throughout the game, and then a poor performance from Melo hindered the Knicks from winning. So I thought they were going to go on a 1-game losing streak and pick up the next game. And here is the next game. Knicks at Bucks. But first, some highlights from NBA.com.
The New York Knicks have lost 4 of their last 5 games. They're 7-7 since acquiring Carmelo Anthony, Andrew Bogut, getting ready for action. And there is Amari Stoudemire. Those two involved in the injury that ended Andrew Bogut's season a year ago. In the first quarter, Carlos Delfino, corner 3-pointer, coming off a career-high 8 3-pointers in the game. He had 13 points at the half later in the first. That's Andrew Bogut, working hard. He gets the miss, but look at Luke Mbah-a-Moute working a little bit harder and won. He had 19 points on the night. Milwaukee up 21-6 later in the first. It's Brandon Jennings feeding Bogut. Bogut going baseline for the 2-handed throwdown. He had a double-double, 13 points and 12 boards. Check the score. Milwaukee up 23-7. Then it's John Salmons blowing right past Jared Jeffries for the little reverse layup. Milwaukee up 32-9 and crushing the Knicks early, but New York Coming back in transition, Tony Douglas finds Amari Stoudemire, and Amari Stoudemire, nice little push shot there. He had 25 points on the night. Milwaukee's lead down to 15, 34-19. Later in the second, Carmelo Anthony gets the steal. He's alone on the other end and lays that one up. He had 11 points at the break. Milwaukee's lead at 6, 43-37. Still second quarter, Chauncey Billups, soft bank shot there. Knicks on an 11-0 run. Milwaukee up, though, 43-39. Into the third quarter we go. It's Chauncey knocking down a mid-range jump shot. He had 21 points in the game. Milwaukee's lead at 152-51. Then it's Brandon Jennings cutting to the basket for the layup and one. He had 13 points on the night. Milwaukee's lead back up to 7. Tony Douglas to Jared Jeffries to Carmelo Anthony, trailing for a three-pointer. Good shot there from Melo, knocking it down. Milwaukee's lead at 3 later in the fourth. Andrew Bogut outside to Carlos Delfino for the triple. He was 6 of 11 from distance. Milwaukee up 80-74. Then Amari Stoudemire, short jump shot there. 11 boards on the night to go along with those 25 points. Milwaukee at 82-79. That's their advantage by 3. Less than 5 minutes to go. Andrew Bogut grabs the rebound. Carmelo Anthony grabs the arm of Andrew Bogut. Bogut doesn't like it. Big size advantage for Bogut there, but Carmelo not backing down. Later, Carlos Delfino, three-pointer. He had a career-high 30 points on the night. Delfino filling it up of late, and Milwaukee at home takes it by 5 over the Knicks. Final score 100-95.
Now, the video doesn't mention that Fields had himself 13 points. Carmelo Anthony added 23 points off of a horrible shooting performance. John Salmons added 22 points for the Bucks. Keys for the Knicks first. They missed shots, which led to poor defense. Now, in the beginning of the game, the Knicks were losing like 20-something to 4 in the first quarter. And that's not good. And they were taking decent shots. They had 3 air balls. I think it was Billups, Amari, and Melo had 3 air balls. And then from that point on, the game decided itself. And this led to poor defense, and the Knicks really didn't get back. They looked tired, and they didn't really look like a 6th-place team at the time. And they were out-rebounded. The Knicks were out-rebounded 39-50. And for the Bucks, everything went right. Offense was right. Defense was right. Rebounds were happening for them. And Brandon Jennings didn't even really have to kill us. It was people like Carlos Delfino, and that's it. And this sums up part 2 of the sports vlog. So you're going to have to check out the 2 top contenders East edition. So, Mr. BX Bowler.